We are back at it again with another Fortnite Save the World weapon review. In this weapon review, I'm going to be reviewing the Bundlebuss Flintlock Assault Rifle that was added today in Fortnite Save the World. As always, guys, a like on the video is always very much appreciated. With that said, let's just jump right into it. Now, I'm not going to be reviewing the weapon based on how much damage it does at power level 130. I'm going to be reviewing the weapon with my own review format, which I have linked in the description if, of course, you are interested in it. With that said, let's get started with what the weapon specializes on. So the Bundlebuss specifically specializes on high burst damage on a single target, or of course multiple targets that are of course very closed up together. But from my experience, I think the weapon is best used when you either one, need to take out a high priority target, a husky husk, or you want to do some serious damage to of course mist monsters. When I first got the Bundlebuss, actually, I ran it in my primary slot because I thought it was going to be like a siege breaker, alright? And it's not, okay? I should definitely point out that it has a really slow fire rate. It has a really slow reload speed, okay? And on top of all that, I don't know why, but for some reason I feel like the weapon handles very slow. Anyways, the point is you definitely want to run this on your secondary or third weapon slot, and of course you do want to have, I guess you could say, a high burst DPS weapon like a siege breaker or a bobcat on your primary slot, because since the Bundlebuss has a really slow fire rate and a really low reload speed, if you get swarmed by enemies, you're just going to get completely destroyed. With that said, I can simply say that when it comes down to how reliable the weapon is, it's really reliable at doing, again, massive damage to a single target, and in my opinion it's the most reliable weapon at taking out mist monsters from a safe distance, okay? But then again, I am pretty biased, okay? I really like this weapon, just in case you guys haven't noticed by now. However, even though I like the weapon, it doesn't mean that it's perfect. The weapon is very unreliable when it comes down to multiple groups of husks. In other words, when the husks are very scattered around, you're going to be missing out on taking out a lot of them because you're going to be using this weapon. In other words, take out a siege breaker, a bobcat, a silent specter, a tiger, founder's drumroll. The point is, when it comes down to a lot of husks being grouped up together and scattered around, the weapon isn't going to be as effective, and you're going to be missing out on a lot of damage and a lot of eliminated husk because the weapon has a very slow reload speed and, again, a very slow rate of fire. And I honestly think that that's what makes this weapon balanced, okay? The fact that, you know, it isn't an option to all of your problems, I guess you could say. The gun basically promotes you to use your abilities and of course your primary and of course third weapon as well. Another thing that of course really sucks about this weapon, which again is what makes it balanced, is the slow reload speed. I have 38% reload speed right now at the moment because I ran out of reperk, and on top of all that, I also had the extra 35% reload speed, I believe, from Double Agent Vaughn, and the weapon still reloaded really slow. On top of all that, the Bundlebuss at really long ranges, when you shoot a mist monster or when you shoot a target that's really far away, sometimes the kick basically makes you miss a lot of bullets, and it basically makes it so that you just miss a couple of shots, and therefore you don't really get the full effectiveness of the weapon. Which leads me to my next point. You want to make sure, guys, that you're using this weapon at the medium to longish ranges, like I said a couple of minutes ago. So I want to talk about the special perk that the Bundlebuss has pretty quickly. Out of the 8 bullets that you shoot in every burst, if 5 of them hit, you're going to cause a small explosion within a 0.5 tile radius that is going to deal 30% of the weapon's damage. This perk is very good if you're shooting a lot of small health type husk. If they're grouped in together, for the most part, this perk can finish off some other husks that are of course very weak. And on top of all that, if there are small husks next to a husky husk, for example, or smashers, and they're at very low health because of the traps, this small perk is going to of course make a difference. However, something that I've noticed is that it's either 1 bugged or 2, they have to be really closed up together in order for that perk to be effective. With that said, 30% of the weapon's damage is pretty good. A loadout that I recommend with the Bundlebuss is of course your typical siege breaker type weapon, maybe an explosive on your third slot, and then of course your Bundlebuss. And basically every time that you see a husky husk, every time that you see a mist monster, make sure that you take this weapon out and of course prioritize those mist monsters, or of course those husky husk, or basically just a husk that's right in front of you and that needs to be taken out ASAP. And of course that leads me forward to my next section in my weapon reviews, recommended perks. I definitely recommend a reload speed perk on this. I mean, if you don't have a reload speed perk on this weapon, you're honestly just a masochist at this point. Anyways, when it comes down to the other perks, I went with I'm going to go with 2 critical damage perks and 1 critical rating perk. Or if you want to make sure that you get critical damage as much as possible, go with 2 critical rating perks and 1 critical damage perk. I went with energy for my element of choice because that's what the weapon came with, and honestly I'm really glad that it came with energy. Lastly, here's my opinion on the weapon as well as the star rating. I think this is definitely a must buy from the shop, and in my opinion this weapon is a lot of fun to use, and on top of all that, it literally changes the playstyle of sitting back with a super shredder. Now you can use the super shredder for of course the long ranges, and now of course you can use the Bundlebuss for the medium ranges and to deal with of course those annoying smashers. When it comes down to the star rating, I'm going to give this weapon a 4 out of 5 stars. Very reliable, consistent at doing its job. The only reason why I'm not giving this weapon a 5-star rating is because of the slow reload speed, slow fire rates, and the slow handling speed in my opinion. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to subscribe for more Fortnite Save the World reviews, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one.